In the darkest annals of human history, amidst the ashes of war and the cries of the innocent, courage often manifests in the most unexpected forms. We speak of soldiers, of spies, of grand acts of defiance. But what if the greatest feat of wartime heroism wasn't a charge or a coded message, but a whispered secret shared between a nurse and her loyal companion? What if the key to liberating thousands of children from the jaws of oblivion wasn't a weapon or a daring escape plan, but the unassuming wag of a dog's tail? This is the unbelievable, almost impossible, true story of Elara Vance, a name synonymous with quiet bravery, and the crazy dog trick that, against all odds, smuggled 2,500 children to safety in just 10 harrowing months. Prepare to challenge every notion you hold about where heroism can be found, and how the most extraordinary acts can hide in plain sight under the very noses of oppressors. This is not just a tale of survival, but a testament to ingenuity, compassion, and the profound, silent power of a four-legged friend. The year is 1942. A continent bleeds. The iron fist of occupation clenches tighter around every city, every village. For millions, life has become a relentless struggle for survival, shadowed by an ever-present menace. But for the children, the youngest and most vulnerable, the war was a daily, terrifying reality. They were not just victims of bombs and hunger, they were targets, their futures systematically dismantled, their very existence often deemed expendable. In the heart of a beleaguered city, Nurse Elara Vance, a woman whose quiet demeanor belied an iron will, found herself on the front lines of a different kind of battle. Her clinic, a clandestine sanctuary, was a fragile beacon against the encroaching darkness. Every cough, every fever, every malnourished child was a stark reminder of the war's relentless toll. But Elara knew, deep in her bones, that the greatest threat to these innocent lives wasn't just disease or starvation. It was the looming shadow of deportation, of separation, of an unknown fate that promised only despair. The air was thick with fear, the whispers of roundups spreading like wildfire, igniting an urgency that would soon push Elara beyond the limits of conventional aid. Each morning brought new faces to Elara's clinic, but each evening brought new disappearances. The systematic rounding up of children escalated, transforming innocent lives into mere statistics. Elara saw the terror in their eyes, the silent pleas of their parents, heard the heart-wrenching cries as families were torn apart. One day, a small boy, whom Elara had nursed back from the brink of pneumonia, was snatched from his bed, his bewildered gaze searing into her memory. That moment was a breaking point. The official channels were choked with bureaucracy, compassion eradicated by tyranny. Appeals were ignored, pleas unheard. The borders, once permeable, were now fortified walls of barbed wire and armed guards. How could one woman, a nurse, hope to breach such an impenetrable barrier? How could she protect the thousands of children destined for a fate far worse than the disease she fought daily? The question burned within her, a desperate, agonizing fire. Conventional escape routes were suicide. Every logical path led to a dead end. But Elara was not one to accept the impossible. She knew a new, unconventional way had to be found, a way no one would ever suspect, a way that seemed, in its very essence, utterly insane. Despair has a way of sharpening the mind, forcing it to see patterns where before there were only obstacles. For days, Elara observed. She watched the checkpoints, the patrols, the rhythm of the occupation. She saw the meticulous inspections of carts, the scrutiny of papers, the hawk-like vigilance for anything suspicious. But then, a subtle detail emerged, a flicker in the monotony. A scruffy stray dog, wandering freely, unburdened by scrutiny, occasionally even eliciting a moment of relaxed distraction from a bored guard. A small dog, ignored, deemed harmless. In that moment, a lightning bolt of an idea struck her. What if the very thing they overlooked, the creature deemed innocent, could become the ultimate camouflage? It was audacious, reckless, bordering on the absurd. But what if? Soon after, as if drawn by an invisible thread, a medium-sized, loyal-looking stray began to frequent the clinic's periphery. Elara, with a quiet offer of food and kindness, befriended him, naming him Shadow. Little did she know, this gentle animal would become the unwitting accomplice in the most audacious rescue mission of the war. The crazy dog trick was no longer just a desperate thought. It was a nascent plan, taking shape in the depths of Elara's inventive mind. The spark of an idea had ignited, but transforming it into a viable escape route required meticulous planning and audacious execution. Elara enlisted the help of an elderly carpenter, a man whose quiet defiance mirrored her own. Together, under the shroud of night, they transformed ordinary animal carriers into sophisticated vessels of hope. Double bottoms, clever ventilation, tiny hidden latches, every detail was painstakingly engineered to conceal precious cargo. But the crates were only half the equation. Shadow, her loyal canine accomplice, needed to be more than just a prop. He had to be an active participant. Elara spent countless hours with infinite patience training him. He learned to project an aura of playful normalcy, to bark at precisely the right moment, to tug on his leash just enough to divert a guard's attention. He learned to be calm, even with the scent of hidden children so close. The children themselves, some mere infants, had to be prepared, taught silence, promised a new life. Each simulated journey, each whispered instruction, each carefully fitted blanket was a terrifying rehearsal for a dance with destiny. This wasn't merely a trick. It was an elaborate LA of deception, where one false move, one misplaced sound, one moment of panic could mean utter catastrophe for everyone involved. The stakes were astronomical, but the resolve was unbreakable. The day of the first mission dawned gray and heavy, mirroring the collective anxiety. A small group of children, their faces pale with a mixture of fear and naive trust, were carefully nestled within the specially constructed crates. Elara's heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drum against the silence, but her outer composure was absolute. She held Shadow's leash, her grip firm, projecting an image of mundane routine. As they approached the checkpoint, the air thickened with unspoken danger. The guards, with their steely eyes and weary suspicion, stopped her. Questions were barked, papers demanded. Elara, with a voice as steady as a rock, recited her cover story, transporting animals for a local farm. The guard's gaze lingered on the crates, on Shadow, then back to Elara. It was then that Shadow, with an almost uncanny intuition, performed his part flawlessly. A sudden playful bark, a tug on the leash, drawing the guard's eye away for just a crucial moment. The inspection was cursory, a mere formality for what appeared to be harmless animal transport. The wave of the hand, the guttural command to pass. Elara's breath, held captive for what felt like an eternity, finally released. They were through. The first victory was secured, a tiny, improbable crack in the iron wall of oppression, forged by a nurse's courage and a dog's innocent distraction. It was a testament to the fact that even in the darkest hours, ingenuity could carve a path where none seemed to exist. 1 became 2, then 10, then 100. The initial, audacious success ignited a spark that rapidly grew into a blazing inferno of hope. Elara's crazy dog trick was no longer a solitary gamble, but the ingenious heart of a burgeoning underground network. Words spread, whispered in hushed tones, reaching the ears of other brave souls, nurses, doctors, sympathetic villagers who dared to defy the oppressors. They joined what they secretly called Operation Paw Print. Routes were meticulously planned, timings calculated to the second, false identities crafted. Children, sometimes infants, carefully sedated to ensure silence, were secreted away in repurposed baskets, modified crates, often disguised as mundane animal transport, livestock, hunting dogs, even rare breeds supposedly destined for officers' pets. The network stretched, connecting safe houses and clandestine checkpoints. The routine became a dangerous rhythm, the silent journey under the cover of night, the whispered prayers, the heart-stopping moments of inspection, followed by the fleeting yet profound relief of success. Every trip was a gamble with lives, every child saved a miracle. The sheer logistical feat, coordinating multiple teams and dozens of children daily, pushed human endurance to its very limits. But with each successful passage, the spirit of defiance grew stronger, fueled by the unwavering belief that every child deserved a future. The scale of Operation Paw Print was immense, its successes legendary, but the shadow of discovery was never far. With such a high volume of precious cargo passing through countless checkpoints, near misses became a terrifying reality. A guard, more astute than most, peering a little too long into a crate, his eyes narrowed with suspicion. A nervous child stifling a cough at the exact wrong moment, their tiny breath almost giving away the entire operation. A volunteer, cornered, barely escaping capture by a hair's breadth. Each close call reverberated through the network, leaving Elara and her team physically and emotionally drained, the weight of thousands of lives pressing down on them. Sleep became a luxury, replaced by restless nights haunted by what-ifs. The constant vigilance, the fear of betrayal, the impossible choices, the quiet desperation, these were the unseen burdens Elara carried, her spirit tested at every turn. Yet, through it all, Shadow remained her unwavering confidant, his presence a calming anchor. His perfectly timed bark, his seemingly innocent playfulness, often proved the crucial difference between freedom and capture, a silent guardian in the most perilous moments. Their bond, forged in the crucible of war, was the very heart of the operation, a testament to an unshakable loyalty that defied all logic and saved countless lives.
In just 10 harrowing months, Elara Vance, a quiet nurse driven by an indomitable spirit, and her loyal companion Shadow, had orchestrated the impossible. 2,500 children, snatched from the very jaws of oblivion, owed their futures, their very existence, to a crazy dog trick. As the war finally subsided and the world began to heal its grievous wounds, the true astonishing scale of her achievement gradually emerged, a beacon of light in the darkest of times. These children grew up, becoming doctors, artists, parents, grandparents, each carrying the quiet, profound knowledge of their miraculous escape. Many, years later, would share their fragmented memories of the gentle woman with kind eyes, of the comforting darkness inside a crate, and of the brave, loyal dog whose innocent presence shielded them from unimaginable horror. Elara herself would often downplay her heroism, attributing her actions to simple necessity, to the profound love she held for every child. But her story, a powerful testament to human ingenuity, boundless compassion, and the extraordinary power of unconventional courage, resonates through time. It serves as a timeless reminder that even in the face of overwhelming evil, a single act of kindness, however audacious, can change the course of thousands of lives. And sometimes, the greatest heroes in history, the ones who rewrite the script of despair into hope, don't carry a rifle or wear a uniform. Sometimes, they simply wag their tail.